Welcome to Game of Roses. This is Pacecase.
This is the shattered remains of one Bachelor Clues after we have witnessed what we have witnessed on
Rip
this
Clues.
night. I am transformed in much the same way Jesse Palmer transformed at the very end of tonight's program to become
How dare you?
A full Dark Lord.
This is not his
He is
fault.
a full Dark Lord.
This is not his
now.
fault.
Welcome.
Here's what I have to say.
Yes.
3 words, Clues.
Please.
Well, 2 words. 1 repeated.
Okay.
Run, Grant, run.
Look, it was hard to watch. Much of tonight was hard to watch, but
What on earth?
a lot of
What
choices were made that were not good choices by players and producers alike.
The choices. One choice in particular stands out to me, Clues.
Yes, same. You never want your
OMG.
lead asking, "Do I have a choice?" to the host of your show. You never want that to happen, unless in jest. Maybe it
that
could be funny,
whole.
but.
I mean,
Yeah, we're gonna get to it. There was a lot. Now, before we say any of this, though, I do think it's important to say this is contextual. This was among some of the biggest disasters we've seen in the history of the game on every level. However, it was historic, and it will have a very important place, I think, this season specifically, in the canon of Bachelor history. I think this is going to be a turning point in some way. It has to be. They can't have this again. You know?
I cannot believe what they did to Jenn Tran tonight.
I know.
I cannot believe what they did to this lead.
I agree.
It is unconscionable. I don't think anyone who's watching it, I mean, this is like mostly women watching this.
Yeah.
And you are watching them force this woman to watch one of the most horrible moments of her life.
There was a moment
that was too sensitive to not even show at first.
Yeah, I feel like we have to talk about this first. I know we're going to get to it and probably talk about it again.
I know.
But them making her watch the watch back of the proposal, it got to a point where they had her head in the box watching it. So now we're watching her watch it. And she began sobbing to such a degree that they cut the box out.
I felt sick.
Yeah, it was a bad decision, and I think it's going to be remembered that way, especially in the season where it was supposed to be like, we're behind her 100%, the LA Times article, all that. It didn't feel like that. That said, we still must engage the play of our players and hand out our awards because we still had a game here, and it is still the most important game of the season, the finals. This is it. Your 2 players going head-to-head. That was another thing. None of the allegations were addressed across the board. Complete ignore of that.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's
my anger about that overshadowed my quote-unquote shock that they didn't address any of the allegations. The allegations against Marcus and the Devin likes of the anti-trans posts, etc., and the wrapping the racial epithet.
But what it's hard to even like wrap your head around what was done. That decision to, like, if you're going to play the proposal, play it in the order of the show and then have them come out and talk about it. There was no reason to delay it until after all of that. That was the decision that I think was like the bad one. They could have had this in the show.
It would have played if they just had it go first.
It's like,
you come out, you're with Jenn. Oh, that's hard to watch back. That's how they normally do it.
Exactly. To have her rewatch it, and that moment where he's like, "Are you okay with this, Jenn?" This is when he became full Dark Lord. He was like, "Are you okay with us showing this horribly traumatic clip?" And she is literally says, "Do I have a choice?" Of course he was. They have to get consent on camera. That's what the franchise does for everything.
She didn't give consent.
Exactly.
She said, "Do I have a choice?"
That's why
I don't think he was supposed to ask.
No, because they had to get it from her every time. Like, "You're sure this is okay?" They knew it was brutal, but they were like, "If she says it's okay, we're off the hook." That's what they were going for there for sure.
Then they shouldn't have played it.
I agree. At least not when they did.
It was horrifying to watch her say, "Do I have a choice?" And then it just goes. It just was like, why are you punishing this woman?
Yeah, it was very
Why
brutal.
are you doing this? No one wants to watch this.
Exactly. If anything, you give Devin 10 minutes at the end.
Cut it.
Something. I don't know.
Cut it. You know what I think the decision was? They were like, oh, we finally got a Bachelorette to do the thing we've wanted to do for many seasons, which is have her propose.
Exactly.
We need this historic moment in the document, so we have to play it, even though, okay, but it's going to be brutal to watch, and we take the power back from it immediately.
And it takes the power away from the play. Because they put it after, we're like, none of this means anything. All the shit he's saying is meaningless. And so it means
all these
nothing.
people have been saying haunting things in the audience the whole episode.
I know. It invalidated that play, which is like, it's such a disservice to
just
obviously
cut it.
Jenn,
get someone else to do it.
To the season.
Sorry.
To the game, frankly, because it's like, that's what this season should be remembered for. That she proposed to the guy. Not the breakup. The breakup is like
100%.
In the long history of Bachelor, couples breaking up is literally statistically meaningless. They all break up, pretty much.
It's literally constant.
You know what I mean? That's fine. They can break up. You can
Pilot
let
Pete
that
had gone
happen.
through multiple breakups by the time they did this episode.
The main event of this season, and what I will always remember it for, I'm going to program my brain to fucking do this, is Jenn Tran was the first Bachelorette to propose to the man. That is mind-blowing. The change,
Feminist
the
queen.
shift that she did in that. Especially in this franchise. We had Becca Kufrin do this off camera and not even in a show. In the outside real world, she did it to Big Body. And that became kind of
I
news.
thought of Becca Kufrin for multiple reasons in this episode.
Yeah, totally. I agree. At any rate.
Not addressing the allegations, not addressing the Instagram likes, basically means that we are farther behind than the Becca Kufrin Garrett Y finale, in which they made him address his interesting Instagram likes.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that part of the show is just done now. The making people answer for stuff they're doing in social media
outside
after
of the
show, that really isn't here. You saw a little bit of it when Jenn was like, and then I'm seeing you liked Maria on Instagram. I thought that was interesting, but that came from her.
That was interesting.
That came from her. The show didn't put it in.
The Sam M meme. I can't believe the Sam M meme got brought up.
And the meme, for those who don't know, is this meme of Sam M. Or Devin posted it. It was of him as the Grim Reaper walking past two doors with blood trickling out that said Thomas N. and Aaron Erb on the doors. And
thinking about that meme, I mean, thinking about that meme now in context
it's like,
is even a next level.
Yes.
I'm like, are you kidding me?
It's like
You're
while they
ghosting
were
the
breaking
Bachelorette
up,
while doing this?
he was like on the phone talking to her, and then he pauses for like 10 seconds. He's got to send that meme. Sorry. Anyways, I just don't think all my feelings that I had were real, and I'll talk to you later. I'm going to New York to go to a club with Jeremy.
Jerry Bear and I have got to get down.
Yeah.
You know, he likes to party.
When the bear calls, Devin answers. Sorry.
When the bear calls, no,
it's rough.
That's
it's
so
just a
good.
rough thing to have
when
gone
the
through.
bear
But like,
calls.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen breakups on this show and stuff. A million of them before. Some very entertaining. Some, brutal to watch. This one was one of those, but it happened off camera.
This
We're not
was.
seeing the breakup. So, like, I know she's not
No, but this
over
is
it,
one of the most brutal finales I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Like,
it is up there with the Kufrin and Ari breakup, in my opinion.
100%.
As
100%.
just like, what am I even watching? I just still can't believe they made her watch the video of it after their whole fight, and she's sobbing. And they know it's wrong. I'm telling you, they cut her off the screen. Her head's in a box watching it happen, and they're like, nope, get that off the screen.
And then they stop. They're like, get that. Cut the
box,
emotion box.
It
What do you
wasn't
think
even
they
that
call
they
it?
cut to another person. The box disappeared. It didn't come back in, I think, for the rest of watching the watch back.
Her tears were so for TRR, they broke the box.
Yes, basically, she cried it out of existence. It's unbelievable.
Oh my God.
I mean,
oh my God.
Just historic in so many ways.
Let's just get into it.
Please,
it's 3
we've
hours.
already done it. Yeah.
But
well, we can blaze through some of this. I mean, there was a lot of
I hope they
filler.
never do this again.
Yeah.
They have a lot to make up to me with Grant's season. I'll just say that.
I agree.
If he still agrees to do it after watching this.
Grant, if you're listening, you've already signed the papers, I know. Renegotiate. Get a little more money. I think you could do it right now.
Ooh, yes. I
think you got the leverage right now.
They can't ungive it to you, maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
They've been casting for Grant, so
yeah. If
they're going to have that problem all over again if they
right
don't.
now, like court of public opinion, I think if Grant says double whatever you're paying me, he wins it. What are they going to say? Oh, we had a contract dispute. We have to can Grant.
This is the power that leads can have over the show.
Yes.
Like, this is real.
When you get announced officially.
I'll never stop thinking about that Katie Thurston tweet where she said, "I'm so happy DLH is not hosting my season." I'll never stop thinking about that tweet.
Yeah, same. If you get announced, that's it. You're the Bachelor, you know? How much do you want to get paid to be the Bachelor, Grant?
Let's begin. Three perfect hours of television.
So we start with this promo that they've started a lot of the episodes with, where we see Jenn saying, you know, DLP's like, "Is this what you want to do?" Yep. Okay. What's going to happen? And we see her to the white suited shoulder saying, "You can't propose." And the final rose goes back on the pedestal. We were right about the white suit.
We knew. We predicted in our live that it was Devin because he was wearing a white suit. I was like, that's so Devin to wear a white suit.
Me too. That's how I felt about it also. I don't know why. Why is that?
I don't know. It's like a car salesman. I don't know. I don't know what it is.
Well, hopefully someone does. Portion 1 begins live in the studio. DLP emerges to all the cheering fans. We see Jenn's family there. We see some other Bachelor Nation players. DLP welcomes us. He says it's a star-studded event. We cut out to see Joan Vassos in the audience sitting next to Neil Lane. That was surreal to me. And then Kelsey Anderson is sitting next to her dad. Also, I'm like, wait, what the hell is going on here? Fantastic, I thought.
Neil Lane crashes Joan's season.
I mean, has to, I think. But he also was in this episode. Oh, you're saying crashes as a player? Can you imagine that? Holy shit. Yeah. I don't know if it happened in this season.
My time.
But yeah, I don't even know if he's single. But please put Neil Lane in.
Of course he's not single. Something. You think a catch like that stays out in the market? No way.
Could be something where like he's dedicated his life to diamonds. He hasn't had time for love. He's in the shop all day working on a new oval cut for next season.
He has time. He has time for love. He loves his wife or husband, whoever it is. We then get these meetings of the family. We start with Devin. And
oh, by the way, the opening shot when we go back to Hawaii into the document, we see a fish underwater. And this underwater fish was my creature of the week. It was slim pickings. I don't even know if I saw any other creatures, but I did at the end of this.
I saw only one creature.
Oh, interesting.
Actually, I saw multiple, but only one was my creature, obviously.
Well, this fish was my creature. At certain points during this, I wished I was swimming underwater. Away from this show.
Is this a cry for help?
Yeah. No, it was just, it's so much in terms of like just the volume of historical kind of content and like the weight of this episode. I'm not saying it like will go down as one of the greatest episodes of all time, but perhaps one of the most important of all time for sure. Because so much happened in it.
I hope because of a great turning point in casting practices and producing practices, they'll say this was a moment where we pivoted.
It's like the problem with showing it after is it's too mean. It's just straight mean to do to somebody.
Mean.
And it's clear that it's being done because you want to see her cry on TV. And it's like, we don't want to see that as the audience.
Next to Devin, too. It's like, ugh.
If the message is she's empowered by making decisions for herself finally, then don't show us images of her being tortured and to the point of breaking down on TV.
Where she has no power.
Yeah, show us the powerful Jenn. She is in control. That was what we were promised. That was the slogan.
She should have just said, don't show it.
This season went from the slogan being she's in control to do I have a choice? That's what happened tonight.
Do I have a choice would be a good
unreal.
episode title. I mean, I feel like that's the quote of the episode.
Yeah, it really is. Anyways, we must get through this. So there is some interesting play here. We see, Devin comes in for the meeting of the family, and we see he does basically a debrief. Or we cut to the family debrief, sorry, and her mom is saying she's nervous and excited, and we see her brother's going to be there, her aunt's going to be there, and I believe her friend is going to be there. We see...
Best friend.
Her best friend. I wrote, we see the star of the Bachelor Beetlejuice crossover ad campaign, Rachel Recchia, in the audience. I was happy to see her there, though, I have to say.
Me too.
I like her getting everything she can out of this franchise. Jenn
She and I cried together during this episode.
She was doing tear play out there. Wow. I was like, holy shit.
What an icon.
Yes.
What an icon.
Jesus,
producing tears. Good. Oh, by the way.
Yeah.
Can we just talk? I know this is again about the proposal, but can we talk about the fact that I called it on night one that she was going to be the one to propose?
Yeah, you saw that shit into the future. That's fantastic.
Boom.
God,
I didn't see the rest, though. Didn't see any of this coming.
No, same.
Nope. I love that we are getting Jenn and her family, like, speaking in Vietnamese to each other. Devin does some great meeting of the family play here.
I agree.
Again. I was like, oh, he's going to be the MVP. That's what I was thinking during
this.
The
guy crushed all season. If you're look, you're talking about he may be the MVP after this. I might tend to agree with you in a very real way. Because gameplay-wise, he has dominated this season.
No, but his numbers are going to be terrible.
But
no
that's
one's going to follow him after this.
Oh, he's going to go to 0. I am so curious to see what his follower number is after this. Like tomorrow morning, or
he's
just
going to go to 0. Everyone who's ever known unfollows.
He might have to delete that account. I don't know.
Definitely going to have to cut off those comments.
Days or weeks. But her brother here ITMs that she's had rough relationships in the past, and he wants to protect her from that again. Jenn tells the family that she's leveled with them both, and her mom, she's level forward both guys, and her mom asks if they've set it back. Already we're getting like just super astute gameplay from the family. What love level are you at? Okay, I've leveled before both. Have they leveled
in return? Have you precogged?
Yeah, we're basically
100%.
Getting through all the good plays here. And Jenn explains, I have love level forward one of them, but not the other. Today you're meeting Devin, who has love level forward me. And Jenn says she has equal feelings for them both. Her friend Nicole is like, we want somebody to end up, she's going to end up with somebody who will treat her like the queen she is. And then we get Devin. Comes with the Kringles. They always come with the Kringles. That's producer given. 1, 2, 3, 4 kisses out front of this familial home. Devin ITM's the pressure's on him to prove he can give her the future she wants. And he has some fears about her family not thinking he's good enough. He doesn't want to disappoint her family. He wants them to like him. They need familial approval. Generally speaking, this moment in every season, the family gives nothing, no help. They say, we like them both, and whatever choice you make, we'll go with it. We love you. We're so proud of you. Here, I thought we saw a family weighing in, which is rare and 100%. Incredible.
We saw a family weighing in. It does happen.
Yeah, it does.
And sometimes they weigh in on behalf of the person who doesn't win. We've seen that.
Our Familial Play Award is named after the familial player at this very stage of the game who maybe weighed in the hardest, named Sweet Nums. It was pilot Peter Weber's mom in season 24 of Bachelor. And in the finale, she breaks down sobbing, saying to her son, bring her home to us. That's what love stories are made out of. And talking about a specific player.
Home. But bring her home to us.
It was beautiful. A work of art. If you've never seen that season, I highly recommend it.
It's one of the best of all time.
At any rate.
I wonder if Sweet Nums is watching Golden Bachelorette.
Her friend was on Golden Bachelor. Remember that?
Yeah, so maybe she stopped watching because they made her a night one player.
Yeah, she's done with the franchise.
I don't know.
We see Devin sit down, hugs all around. He kind of skips the usual recap of his plays, which we see a lot, and he opens with just strong PTC play, telling the family how he had a single mom. He understands what a strong woman can do for a family. I was like, this is fantastic. He's doing this exactly correctly.
Crushing.
And like he's good at it, you know. Now, knowing what we know, that this was basically a front to back play. Like he played the game and won. That's kind of what we're seeing here. It's
look, we only saw really one version.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's possible there were other things going on.
Sure.
But the indicators are all pointing to what would have been probably my error of the game, probably my error of the season, if something else hadn't happened in this episode.
Her mom here,
anyway,
she thinks they need more time. Kind of a time attack against the process.
Time attack, no blessing.
We see then some 2-on-1 time with Devin and Jenn's mom and aunt. Right out of the gate, they ask him if he has dated an Asian woman before. He says no, but he loves it. And he gets into his heritage and how they already talked about raising mixed kids. And he loves her heritage, and everything's great there. They hit a values attack. What's it about Jenn that you love? He says she makes him feel seen in ways he's never been seen before. He's never been able to feel loved like he is with her. She makes him feel 100%, and he has no question she's the person for him. Just straight to Jenn's mother saying this. And these people are like not reality performers. These are real people that he's saying this to. Just straight to their faces, hardcore doing it. Her aunt asks...
He's hardcore doing it. He does it. He says it right here. All of this.
He really does. It's wild. This is just such a wild season. I mean, I think he'll go down as one of the greatest villains of all time.
100%.
Just brutal.
And I think he might have been getting a villain at it up until they realized he was actually in contention for Ring.
I think so, too.
I feel like they pivoted it.
Yeah, I do, too.
We cut out to the crowd at the beginning of the next portion, and we see Dylan and Jonathan and Jer Bear, and they all kind of... DLP's like, how you doing? And they're like, oh, there's rumors, we're here for support. And you're like, oh, God, what is happening?
Yes, it's already just
instantly
darkness.
There's a spoiler of tone.
Instantly.
Yeah, darkness.
It is. We are watching the dark tendrils starting to curl around the audience and come out of the shadows to infuse with Jesse Palmer to become a true Dark Lord. I can see it's like a black cloud, like in Lost. Do you remember Lost? There was the smoke monster.
Remember Lost?
It's like the smoke monsters coming in through the walls and going into Jesse Palmer's body.
No, it's not.
You can see him thriving in this all night long, with just dripping with concern about everything. And oh my God, how did that make you feel?
He's an empathetic king?
No. He made all of these people rewatch the most traumatic moment from the last year of their life and then pretend to care.
He didn't do it. You think he was pressing play on that reel?
Right.
No way. He couldn't stop it.
Oh, it was a beautiful thing to watch. Like, this is the season that I'll remember for that. I remember it for Chris Harrison. It was season 4. He became a Dark Lord that season. For Jesse Palmer.
I think you've said this before about him.
Yes, you just see there's something in the eyes that shifts where it's like they don't care about anybody on this show because they've already done it too many times now. And it's the same thing.
He cares.
They just got to churn him out.
He cares, but he's powerless. He is the host.
Maybe.
He's not the
I don't know.
producer.
Whatever it is, I love it. Tonight's Jesse Palmer was my favorite Jesse Palmer. Tonight is the night where I fell in love with him as the host of this show.
There were a couple times where he is kind of talking down to Jenn and giving her a pep talk, but it just seems like, why didn't they have those 3 guys in the audience hit on Jenn during this? That's a thing they do often if they've broken up.
Yes, Jonathan. You insinuate...
Have Jonathan be the Tyler Cameron.
What you did with Hannah Brown and Tyler Cameron. Exactly.
Yes.
You have him ask her out for a fucking drink.
Let's go on a date.
It's right there.
Paradise might not be happening.
God. They had him in the
just
audience.
Some hope.
I'd give up paradise for you, Jenn. What? Let's go out for a hamburger or whatever.
We cut back to this Devin meeting of the family, and we get this interrogation by the brother of Devin. And it's this brother brought it. He's wearing a pink shirt.
Yeah.
He has the skeptical bro thing down pat. Devin is asking kind of for the blessing from him, and he does give a glow. He says that I can tell you guys have a connection.
I had him down as bro glow, but I didn't give him the blessing because he tells him like I can't really do that. There was no blessings given tonight, period. But he does.
Oh, by the way, the AGR out of control in this episode. Even in this, it was like, oh, but there's still 2 other guys left. And I was like, okay, wait, are there not 2 guys left? Why is this ADR?
I think they were using audio from the final rose ceremony ITMs, like shooting a couple of ITMs there on location at that final rose ceremony, and there's like water behind them, so it has that water in the background. They did everything they could to take that sound out, and I think it's still there. That's what I don't know. I could be wrong. That was just when I was listening to it, I was like, what is that?
Waterfall conspiracy theory. Devin tells the brother he loves how they ground each other, and they're vulnerable with each other. Oh, brother says, I'm definitely not going to give you the blessing now.
Yeah.
ADR, because I haven't talked to the second guy.
Denied. I just wrote denied.
Denied.
Yeah. Brother won't give the blessing. Denied. Devin says he appreciates the honesty, though, and how he holds Jenn in high regards. And we then see some one-on-one time with Jenn and Devin. Jenn basically apologizes for her family and, how they were really scrutinizing him.
They torture you.
Yeah, torture, she says. And he says he would have loved, roses and daisies, but he thinks they're the grounding elements.
Roses and daisies. Maria and daisies.
Ooh.
All I thought.
Ooh, I didn't even pick it up.
Premonition.
That part of this, the Maria thing, we'll get to it. I know we're just going to have this whole conversation all over again.
Intrigue. And I'm sorry, but I want to go clubbing with Jer Bear now.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Clubbing with Jer Bear. Jer Bear right now should be calling up clubs around New York and being like, want me to host a night for you?
100%.
I'll pack the house.
His direct-to-camera look wasn't my faceplay, but it was up there. We get these level 4s from Jenn and Devin. They kiss. I write, Ep is ADR'd to shit. Jenn says, I love you off face in the auto zone.
Of course. Of course. Put it there. And then he ITMs the self-doubt is creeping in, and it's like, okay, Marcus is still coming back in the studio. DLP welcomes us back. He prompts all the audience for cheers. We see Hakeem is in the audience, and there are actually some other dudes in this audience. Dude Watch Tonight produced, I believe, 3 dudes.
Hakeem is sitting with the Mormon wives.
What's that?
Hakeem is sitting with the Mormon wives.
Hell yeah.
Because of how enthusiastic he was doing faceplay at their commercial. This was the one bright spot for me.
I agree. Like, Hakeem did that. Hakeem took an opportunity, which was they're playing a commercial for another show, and he dominated it so completely, he's now associated with that show. All Bachelor promotion for that show will now include him. He has basically become the mascot of that show to Bachelor Nation. Brilliantly done. If that show is big, and I think it will be, he's locked into his own audience.
He should do some commentary on the show as well.
Totally. And maybe even see if they could, throw $1 or $2 his way to do that. That could be a job.
I hope they're paying this man.
Created a job out of nothing with faceplay alone.
Beautiful.
I know. Finally. Faceplay is getting the...
Finally.
It's just desserts. It's getting put on the pedestal it deserves.
God. Hakeem also says he's there for support. DLP has a horrible joke about spiders. We then go back to the document. We get the second meeting of the family. It's Marcus.
If I may, in that moment, DLP even says, we just talked to Jonathan Jeremy. The energy seems off. How you feeling, Hakeem? Dark Lord Palmer says the energy seems off. there's nothing more Dark Lordish than
DLP's
this.
an empathetic king. He's doing a vibe check.
Okay.
He's checking vibes.
I think he's bringing in the ominous tone. He's the living embodiment of it in this moment. For me, anyway, it was.
Empaths are constantly picking up on the tone.
Okay. I don't know if that's true. We'll get to...
I think it
We'll
is.
get to the real moment that he became a Dark Lord a little bit later. We'll see if his empathy survived. We get the second meeting of the family here.
They don't try to hide that it's the same day, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. So it's going to be back to back. And her brother's ITMing that he has concerns. Marcus hasn't played his love level 4 yet. He thinks Jenn might be falling into her old patterns of dating unavailable men emotionally. Marcus shows up. He's got a big Kringle. She ITMs that she's nervous for Marcus, doesn't know if her family's going to buy into their relationship. She says that, and I'm like, whoa, what? He hasn't love level 4 yet, but she's looking for it today, basically. He comes in, meets the group, hugs all around. She's like, tell us about your journey to find love, Jen's mom. And he's like, well, my biological parents...
I was abandoned at the daycare.
left me at a daycare when I was 8 years old. It's like, whoa, shit, you didn't have to go back that far. I was just kind of, what was your limo exit more is what I was looking for.
Yeah. I was looking for limo exits. I guess it wasn't a standee.
Yeah. Did you have to show any part of your nude body on your first group date or not? Yeah. Did they put you on the forced violence or the forced nudity date?
We see one-on-one time with Marcus and the brother, and I gotta say, the brother wins my Sweet Gnomes Familial Award for this episode. He crushes.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I know you've been through a lot. You know, what are you ready to like take the next step? And Marcus keeps talking around it. He's like, she makes me believe it's possible that we could get engaged. And we get this ADR of the brother. Oh, she makes me believe, and then it's cut off, and then ADR'd, it's possible.
Yeah.
And the brother ITMs that he's playing Ring Around the Rosie with him. Love this colorful commentary.
I did
so
too.
good.
This is one of the, definitely, I think in top 5. I don't know who the other ones would be. There were some wild ones, like the dude that was made Jesse Palmer shoot guns. That was an interesting dad.
Oh, you mean
Back when he's
all
Bachelor.
time?
Yeah. I think this guy is an all-time familial player. This brother.
Dang. What about Chad Womack?
Oh, God. I hadn't thought about that name.
When they made
I haven't thought about that
the
name in years.
Bachelor's identical twin pretend to be him and see which women notice.
On night 1, they did that. That was the night 1 curveball, is that they took the Bachelor and
night
switched him with
one?
his twin. Yeah. Isn't that insane?
That is insane.
Anyways, we got
They
some
need to do
2-on-1
more
time.
of that.
They need to only cast leads that have at least twins, hopefully triplets, and they can just switch them out 24 hours a day.
I would love to see a season of twins.
I would love to see triplets, and they put them in a 3-person rotation on sleeping schedule. So one person, it seems like the person is always awake, never sleeping, and you just let that kind of sink into the player base. Have you ever seen them say they're tired or ever be asleep? No.
Why?
I don't know.
Why? I don't know.
That's my dream reality show.
Oh my God. We see the mom and the aunt interrogate Marcus here, and they ask literally, are you love level 3? And he's like, you know, I'm beating myself up. I am unsure. And he does these tears that at least semi help his cause against all of these interrogations about his feelings. He hasn't even love level 2'd.
It's hard to take it seriously. I agree. But there are some people, I think, who have this ability to cry kind of at will. I mean, I know there are. And that skill in this game is incredibly important. I'm not saying he doesn't feel a little bit of the emotion or something maybe, but he can kind of like get his physical reaction to be that strong. That's tier play, 101.
You think they're 4TWR tiers?
I don't think they're 100% 4TRR.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Marcus says he wants to get there, and the mom ITM, she's worried Jenn will get hurt. Prescient. We see Jenn and...
God. Oh.
You see Jenn and her brother, and Jenn explains, like, maybe the trauma has to do with why he's slower to get there, and that's okay. I don't judge. We have similar, histories. And I know his intentions. I know how genuine he is, and that he fights for his people. And the brother's like, do you feel like you've done, everything with Marcus? And Jenn says, I've given a lot. And he says, it sucks when it's not reciprocated. How long are you going to wait?
Yeah.
We then cut to... we see the emotion box, and Jer Bear and Jonathan look to be gossiping.
Yeah, I saw that.
It was an interesting shot.
I thought so too. And they're cutting to that. Like that is done live, the reaction boxes. So they've just got some cameras out on the audience, and they're choosing who to show you watching what they're watching when they're watching it. I don't know why they cut to them whispering. I agree. It was like, what are they talking about? What are they trying to tell us here? That these guys
I don't know. I think they're just trying to be
like,
like, everyone wants to know what's going on. And there's like...
everybody's gossiping.
There's whispers. We then see Brother Tears. I want what's best for you.
I forget what season this was, but I remember they cut to Neil Lane once in the audience after the final rose, and he was looking at his phone.
I remember that. That was not recently.
That was within the last couple of years. It was so fucking funny. He just does not care.
Phoning it in. That is a Dark Lord. Like Neil Lane, he is not worried for the emotions around him. He's been long enough for
sure. Because those rings all come back.
Oh God. No, he said that he likes to think that the rings go to heaven.
Sure.
When the relationship ends. Anyway, we see the brother wants what's best for Jenn, and we see James, the brother. He cries in the emotion box while he is crying on screen.
This is tier squared play.
I mean, incredible.
It's unbelievable. We must have seen something similar to this from a family member, though. Maybe Sweet Nums did something like this. I could see that being possible. But yeah, he was the standout for me. He was my Sweet Nums familial player of the game. And I thought when he shed these tears, that's when I kind of knew that. When I was like, oh shit, he's got it all. He's got it all.
Yeah. I mean, so good. We then see Jenn worrying about repeating history with Marcus, but she loads level 4 for him. And we see them on the bench, and she checks in with him again. And he's like, yeah, I think there's progress. This literally is the season of the most players who are able to talk around in circles and say nothing.
He was Sam Emming all over the place.
Devin was doing it so much this episode too. Yep. And I was like, oh my God, he said Sam was doing it, but he's doing it. He's saying nonsense.
Yes, I agree. They all just go into that mode that's like, shit, I got to say something. The cameras are on. I mean, I don't know. It was a crazy season in a lot of ways. This season just has so much in it, in retrospect. I am going to be doing a top 10 takeaways from this season, I think. Next week-ish, I would say. At any rate, yeah, he just kind of talks in the circle.
She wet thumbs Marcus.
Yeah, I saw that.
But doesn't get any answers, even though she level 4s him in the auto zone, and he says, I know.
I know. I almost gave that my error of the game.
Ugh.
Almost.
Almost.
She ITMs. She has a lot to think
about.
about.
All his errors after everything that happened.
That is true. Portion 4 begins. Back in studio, DLP says the meetings of the families are over. Jill and Jenn still has no clarity. Jenn's family is there in the audience. DLP brings up how James was getting emotional. How is he feeling? James says, at the moment, he's not too happy. This is her brother. So you got her brother from the audience being like, fuck you, dude. And DLP's like, you can tell by now, something's definitely going on here. We can all feel
it's a
it,
hard
right?
job.
That impending sense of doom. I mean, God, he was savoring it. He was savoring it. You can see it. He's full Dark Lord.
He's not savoring it.
Oh
he is
my
doing a hard
God.
job.
I'm not saying it's an easy job, but you can tell there's a bit of glee, and it comes out at the very end of the show after he's dined on the entire feast of suffering. You see the smile come. We'll get to that moment. He's a full Dark Lord now. I'm sorry. Back in the document,
Disagree.
we see Jenn is journaling. She ITMs that her family has met them both, and there are concerns based on her past with emotionally unavailable men. We get a Maybelline
She
product
pretends
placement.
to put Maybelline concealer on.
And even that, it's just like, I know it's a TV show and they got to make their money, but it's like so dystopian that like in this whole thing, you also get this crowbarred in Maybelline at bar, this makeup. It's wild.
And I did.
It worked.
I got my summer shade.
Maybelline sales are through the roof, boys. Good job.
We see Devin's last date, and he kind of tries to force a hooju here.
Yeah.
And they're kissing. He says, I love that, and I love Jenn. Loads love level 4. But he's worried because the meeting in the family wasn't perfect. Then we get to the activity, and has he gotten 100% spirit guide dates this season?
Fuck, I think yes. I think
so.
so.
It is, because it's only two one-on-ones,
Yeah.
but I laughed so hard at this. And Kahu, the lead spirit guide who lays Jenn and Devin in unholy matrimony, was my Jorge Moreno, bystander of the week.
Kahu, the literal spirit guide, printed on the screen for us so that we know, who had them do this ceremony of stones, was also my Jorge Moreno, bystander of the week. She was fantastic.
This ceremony. She is wearing these green leaves. There's a green leaf circle on the ground, and then if you look closely, her nails have green leaves at the end.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
What a spirit guide through and through, to the detail, to the fingertip. They do this ceremony where they look for rocks and then put their fears into them and then throw them away. And then they submerge into the ocean. A lot of mermaid, low-key mermaid here. She's going underwater.
It's also like baptism, though. You know? There's like a... symbolically, like they're cleansing their old selves to emerge from the healing waters renewed. The new versions of themselves, ready for this next part of their lives, unburdened by the stones. I mean, it's very like symbolic, I think, this date, in a lot of like weird, kind of deep archetypal ways. And I don't know, I thought it worked. I did like this date, I have to say. We know what we know now, but I liked it. The sun sets. Jenn and Devin sit on a bench on the beach. We get this little one-on-one time with him. He says he's scared by things that have happened in their past, and he's scared a little now. He can have doubts. She knows it's not easy. Bunch of kisses here, and Devin ITMs that he doesn't know what the future holds for them. He gets in his head a lot, and he wants to figure it out where it is with her. Marcus is still here. He's not sure he's the guy. Bunch of kisses. Portion 5 begins. It's night. This is the final date part 2 for Devin back at the hotel. Or they call them last chance dates. That's what production calls them. She said that a couple of times in the document tonight. I thought that was interesting.
That was interesting. They called it that.
And it's good. It's very good. Because as the language that producers use seeps into what the show is, and we all watch that and we're like, what's a last chance date? Oh, that must be their last date in the show. Now that's part of the language.
It's what I've put as last date in all of our grids.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot for ruining it. It's LCD, not LD. Devin kisses Jenn's hand a lot and says, I love you. I love I trust your judgment. And Jenn says, you see me. He says, I do see you completely. And then he kringles her this gift that this was not in the document, was it?
No. No.
Kringle? Okay, we see a deleted scene.
Yes.
That they saved, I guess, for this moment where he gets a gift from a New Zealand shaman, a necklace or stone or something, and he gives it to her now because he's supposed to give it to someone that I don't know.
That he knows is going to keep it forever, basically. Keep
it forever.
That will be with him in his life forever. And it's...
I wrote here, he's speaking nonsense. He does not make sense.
He basically was saying, like, only give it to somebody that you know you're going to be with forever, or that's going to be in your life forever. Mm-hmm. And so he then has the foresight to bring that to this moment as the final kringle that he gives her. He could have given that to her that night at the group date after party. He could have given that to her any other time that he saw her. In any case, he waited till now. The killing blow. This is when it has the most value in the game, period. And he played it here. This was almost my play of the game. But it was so
good. She even comments on the timing of it.
I know.
She's like, oh, this is really for TRR that he's giving it to me now.
Yeah. It was perfectly played.
She love level 4s him. He says, tell me again. She rolls her eyes, almost my face play, does it again. And then she starts introducing her last chance date with Marcus. After we see this ad for Dr. Odyssey. Mm-hmm. And then we come back next portion. By the way?
Is it the Odyssey, but made in a like weird maritime modern thing?
I don't know. It's about a cruise ship doctor. And it's Joshua Jackson, a.k.a. Pacey from Dawson's Creek.
And his last name is Odyssey?
I guess.
So then we get back into portion 6. It is Marcus's final date. Jenn is journaling some more. She's ITMing that so many things in her mind. She's frustrated. She's had an amazing date with Devin. There was so much love and respect and understanding. And he knows he wants a future with her. Today's her last date with Marcus, but she doesn't know where his head's at. And that makes her uncertain. She's given him every opportunity to play this fucking love level 4, and he just won't do it. Now she's in her head and worrying about making this mistake. So DOP then comes to Marcus, and we get this kind of guy chat with the Dark Lord and Marcus. And you start to see him Dark Lording here.
No sport.
No sport? What?
They're not playing golf or tennis.
Oh, yeah. They're just sitting on a balcony in this hotel. And basically, this boils down to Marcus saying, oh, I don't know. And DOP saying, look.
There's a lot of that.
You have to play your love level 4 or you lose the game. He basically tells him, this is it, dude. They're leading him to water he will not drink.
He then says that he's never been so torn. And we see this lady in the emotions box make this wild face play that Marcus could still be torn on proposal week. Mm-hmm. And it was my face play of the game. Lots of competition.
I know.
Lots.
I know. I had a bunch of box faces also as my face plays until Jenn did some magic in the final moments of our program tonight. But
oh shoot, I might have to change mine. I do have a Jenn one. Okay. We then see in this conversation when DLP is giving an ultimatum for Jenn, I guess, we see a tiny little fly. And it is on Marcus's hair. And it won't leave him alone. It says, do the love level 4, Marcus. Do it. Tell DLP you'll do it and then do it to Jenn. And this fly was my creature of the week.
I'm changing my creature. This fly was also my creature of the week. I didn't know this fly existed.
Did you even see it?
But now it completely corroborates that DLP has tapped into his dark, hellish energies and there are grave flies swarming around him.
It's a grave fly.
Yeah. It's like a fly from the grave.
You think the fly has to do with DLP and not with Marcus?
Yes. This always happens in horror movies. When the demon starts becoming a demon or like starts coming around, there's always a scene where like weird bugs are around. Oh shit, 10,000 flies just flew into my living room. There's weird beetles and shit around. That's a very common horror movie
It's a bad
trope.
sign, you're saying.
It just means that he's the devil. It's bad or good. It's up to you, I suppose. But also in this scene...
He is not the devil, and don't you forget it.
They sent him in there and told him, you need to get this guy to tell her that he loves her. That was his goal in that conversation. He's trying to extract a love level 4 from a player. That's not Dark Lordish.
He's trying to get him to open up. It's hard for men to open up, Clues.
I'm sorry.
Men famously have walls with regards to emotions, and this one, he's got a lot of walls.
You're right.
Yes,
totally
he does.
Right. I read it all wrong.
We see these ponder shots where he's perfuming himself. Jenn is putting makeup on. I don't know if it was Maybelline.
It was.
And we get the worst ADR of the season. I need answers from Marcus. I'm not going to wait longer. We then get the next portion, and it's DLP. He says, okay, well, how's this going to end? Jen's on a knock-knock. Let's find out. We go back in the document. Marcus closes the door on the camera crew, and then we are in the hotel room, which I thought was like, why are we seeing that?
Yep, I agree.
Jenn does a how you doing? Marcus is nervous. And she goes, engagement is tomorrow? And he's like, oh, well, I want to get there. You know,
I'm very
I love
hopeful.
the future.
Yeah, it's like, dude, you have literally 8 hours. You're going to be asleep for most of the next hours. Then we're getting married. Yes or no? Well,
She's like, you have literally 8 hours to love level for me.
Things are progressing.
Ticking clock. We see Hakeem in the emotions box for this whole scene. Marcus says he should have dug deeper. And Jen's like, I've been trying. Are you not excited about the future? He says, it's not that I can't picture it, but it's scary. And she's like, what are you trying to tell me? And he says, you have my highest aspiration is to start a family. And she's like, with me?
Yeah.
We see Rachel Recchia laughing at this with, I believe, Jess. And we also cut to Mr. Anderson, Kelsey's father, who is so tan, I am predicting he is going to Fantasy Suites.
Oh.
This man has golfed with DLP. He has the glow.
The glow of the dark golf lessons with DLP.
You don't get that tan without traveling
Yeah, you're right.
with Joan,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh. Interesting. Okay.
We then see Marcus produce a single gorgeous tear. I almost thought this was going to be my faceplay.
Yeah. I did too.
And then he goes, at the end of the day, I love you. Love level 4. It's a level 4, but I don't even want to count it.
I put down that was the error of the game. It wasn't ultimately, but it was up to this point. And it wasn't that he played the love level 4 here. It was how he played it. The playing of it is like, it's not only correct, it's like mandatory at this point. Waiting that long is kind of an error as well, I think. But the way he played it, just like,
100%.
I mean, at the end of the day, I know that I love you and I want to be the type of person. It's like in the middle of a sentence somewhere. It's not a sentence unto itself, you know, just terribly done.
It's a throwaway as if I no longer love you.
Yeah, it doesn't work. She
Even though
stands
it's
up and
not in the
walks
past
away.
tense.
And then she ITMs.
Yeah, she does a walk off. Great move. She has a pit in her stomach.
Pit in her stomach. Pit in her stomach.
I heard that.
I heard it too. I put it all in bold. It was at 129.29. She has a pit in her stomach.
That seems like a magic number. DLP, did the love level 4 change everything after the break?
You'll find out.
Next portion. We're back in the knock-knock. They're still separated. And they then rejoin. And he says, I did fall in love with you. And I was afraid to tell you because, you know, You know what you want. Am I giving that? I'm not giving you what you need.
Yeah. But like, that's not, it's like, well, why aren't you though? That's the question.
A reason he gives, and then Devin later gives. Yeah. I'm like,
he saw it. Devin learned it by watching the watch back. He was like,
oh, okay. That's a good one.
Yeah. That's kind of an inert whatever. It's kind of just a buffer.
Not good. It's me. It's not you.
Yeah. I fully own up to that. I'm not giving you what you need. Right. But why though, dude? They're still holding hands during this strange dance they're doing. She says she had hope for them. He says he's afraid he won't find someone like her again. She knows he's amazing, but she needs someone who gives her as much as she gives, and she knows what she wants for her future, and it's not this feeling anymore. She thanks him for his honesty, so she can give herself what she needs. Marcus produces more tears. They hug. Jenn's ITMing about thinking about the good times made it hard to get rid of him, but she had given too much, and she doesn't want to be taken for granted anymore. Marcus heads to the balcony to ponder as the ITM's not expecting that. He's worried there's something wrong with him. He doesn't know why he sabotages his own happiness. He's struggling with that. He produces some more tears. We come back into the studio to see Marcus.
This self-elimination by Marcus was almost my error of the game.
But it wasn't even like, he was like forcing her to break up with him. That's like what that pattern of speech is doing. It's just like, I'm treading water here. Just drown me. Go for it.
Drown me. Go for it.
Oh, stay right here. Just push me under until I don't come up.
I'm teeing you right up. It's like this round of golf I had with DLP.
When they cut out of this and they're on the live stage, Marcus is sitting there. There's like 2 claps in the back row. That's it. And they let that audio linger. They don't sweeten it. They don't make it nothing. They let you hear just this. Just 2 people in the back, like his friends. Maybe it was his family were there. I don't know.
The Mormons.
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, they don't know anything.
The Mormons.
The Mormons are too caught up in mom talk. They don't watch The Bachelor. They have no idea what's going on.
They definitely haven't watched.
Yeah. DLP reminds us that he played his level 4 too little too late. And DLP asks him how he's feeling. Hard watching it back. We always get that question. And he says he had a lot of time to be honest with himself about his feelings for Jenn and what she needed. And there were some painful truths he stumbled upon. He just wanted to be honest with her. And then he asks if he has any regrets. DLP asks him that, if he made the right decision. He's like, no regrets. Took some time to realize, but it was the right thing to do. DLP asked him how hard it was to see Jenn that conflicted. He says that was very difficult, of course. The most difficult thing was after a few months of trying to lift her up. The hardest part was letting her down. DLP asked him about the painful truths he mentioned, and Marcus says he wanted everything was how he wanted it to go, but there were things that needed to go. He gets cut off here, and he's like, I wanted it to be me and her, but the painful truth was that I wasn't living up to what she needed, and that's where he lays that in. DLP tells us Jenn will be out to talk to him when we come back.
We get this heartbreak reunion hot seat between Jenn and Marcus. And, you know, she gives this speech, you're a special person, I care for you deeply.
This is the first time we get to see her, by the way, at the live event. So we get to see the dress she comes out in. And the dress is, I think, a good choice for, not that I know anything about fashion, but it seemed like a good choice to be like, fuck all these guys. That's what that dress felt like to me. And I thought that it did well.
It was black and sexy, kind of like a funeral dress. Mm-hmm. I'd love to see where Jonathan had it in his rankings of Jenn's dresses that he revealed last week.
Jonathan, if you're listening, make that meme immediately and post it. And that dress is number 1.
He absolutely should be making memes or reels of these of the dresses and his evaluations. We basically get this 4TRR breakup between them. She had a different feeling with Devin, and, you know, they're not aligned, and out of respect for our relationship, still needed to have that talk where the love level 4 happened. I'm just like, I mean, there's nothing really happening here, but it's also just, there's so much that's not happening in these Marcus hot seats that it's like all I'm paying attention to. I'm like, are they going to bring it up? Are they going to bring it up?
Same.
Nope.
Nothing.
Nope. 3 hours.
Literally nothing.
I thought 3 hours. They
Same.
must.
There were so
They must
many
address it if it's
shots
3.
at the end of segments that were like just 15 seconds of just like looking at somebody standing behind a set. I think they didn't have enough to fill 3 hours. This did feel like that to me a little bit, but they did have it. They just didn't do it. Like you're saying, they didn't talk to him about any of that stuff.
Nope. And the next portion, we see DLP and know for sure they are not addressing it. We cut to the document. This one I did notice. Jenn is in full makeup and she pretends to get out of the duvet and go ponder. But we see she's ready for maybe Devin. I don't know. She has different thoughts. And, they're still trying to build it up like this proposal might not happen. Mm-hmm. We see Devin go meet with Neil Lane. Neil shows him a couple options. And he picks the one, I forget what this is called.
He picked the oval cut because it has diamonds on the underside of it. He says there's a bunch of little diamonds on the underside. And Devin, out of nowhere, is just like, that's like our relationship. It's all the little things that build the foundation. This is perfect. Everything is just a top 10 play. Nobody's saying stuff like this that I can remember, where they talk about how the ring is made and how it reminds them of their love. Unreal. DOP then talks to Jenn. He's like, you need to follow your heart today. And she basically does the thing we've seen in part of the trailer. She's learned to not let somebody else's emotions dictate her life. She's always let the guys dictate the terms of relationship. She's not doing that anymore. She thought she knew which way she wanted to go when she woke up, but now she has a different point of view. And he says, you sure you want to do this? Yep. She's not going to let Devin propose to her today. ... She's going to propose to Devin. Hey! She wants to make a big gesture. And she wants him to know she will choose him every day. It hasn't happened yet, but she is teeing up one of the most significant plays in the history of this game. Period. When I saw this, I was like, oh my God, Pacecase was right 100%. And now everything is changed now. Everything has changed because she did this. She was a historic bachelorette in so many ways, and this is one of them.
It's loading what is a very important play. Yeah. But we cut to, DLP, and he says, he interrupts this beautiful moment. Normally this is where you watch a romantic proposal.
Exactly.
But instead you're not seeing that right now. It's not appropriate. So first we're going to bring out Jenn.
Why it wouldn't be appropriate for anyone to see until we hear from Jenn. He's literally saying, if we get her to sign off, we'll show it to you. If not, we can't do it.
Oh.
But they've already had this conversation with her.
Not appropriate. What does that mean? And we see Jenn backstage and she looks emo. Next portion, we get this hot seat with Jenn. She is immediately tearsing.
Sobbing.
Oh, God.
On stage. I mean, sobbing. This is not crying. This is sobbing. DLP says, I'm sorry, and I don't know how to get into this. It's been a couple of hard months, and we basically get her producing just massive amounts of tears as she tells this story that has her and Devin essentially ending the engagement per his request or demand. And then she's like, as soon as we left, things were different. He was pulling away, wasn't calling or texting as much. She promised her life to somebody
wouldn't do couples therapy.
Yeah, wouldn't do couples therapy. She promised her life to somebody she thought was going to put the effort in the relationship. She felt that she was secondary the whole time to his life, and she didn't understand why. They had a happy couple plan, she says, last month. A happy couple is what producers call the weekends where they let the lead and their ring winner go spend a weekend together every once in a while after the show shoots, but before it starts airing. And these are secret locations where they are basically just holed up for a weekend so that nobody can get a picture of them together in the outside world. That's what a happy couple is.
And a lot of breakups have happened at the happy couples.
Yeah, for sure.
We're getting, by the way, so many good face plays
I know.
behind her while she's explaining this story.
I had another one written down here, my face play of the game. It was going to be a member of the fourth audience delivering a full mouth aperture look of shocked horror when she says he regretted getting engaged. And they cut to this woman out in the audience. That was just like some of the most beautiful face play I've ever seen. For the past month, she's been trying to empathize with the way he was feeling and trying to figure out how he could switch it up like that. He was boldly love level 4ing her then, and now he denied ever being in love. And she basically tells this little story of how he checked out. It's not what he wanted anymore. She was fighting for it, doing everything she could. He didn't even go to couples counseling. DLP says
that he felt pressured to get engaged. There's a lady in the audience full on sobbing.
I saw that as well. Yes. DLP says he's shocked because Devin always spoke so passionately about how much he loved you and how he would never abandon you. Do you feel like he held himself to that at all? It's like, no, dude, were you fucking listening? She just said he didn't. That's the whole reason that's what I'm saying. There's not enough. I need to taste that suffering again.
He has to ask these questions. He has to fill 3 hours. This is a show about asking questions about emotions. We get Jenn basically saying, by the way, that they haven't had this conversation of closure. He's avoided her since, and then ghosted her and was like going back and forth between loving and ghosting. JFC, I wrote here. DLP says, bring Devin out.
Yeah.
And we see Devin for the first time backstage looking like a vampire as Jenn cries in a dual screen shot.
It was very gothic in nature. We then see, and they linger on that. That's one of those shots I was talking about. That thing is up for like 15 seconds. You're like, I get it. Go to commercial, please. Portion 12
Please.
is the
drown me.
This third hot seat with Devin and Jenn. DLP brings him out. We get audible boos from everybody. He is the season's villain now. No hug from Jenn. He just sits down next to her, and DLP is like, we didn't show your engagement because we thought, I wrote, we didn't show your engagement because we thought you should squirm on stage a little more. That's not what he said, but that's what he felt, I think.
They just shouldn't have done it. They should have been like, yeah, we're not showing it because it sucks.
If you're going to say don't show it, don't show it.
Or
and I'm fine with that.
don't have her on stage. Or don't have her on stage next to Devin. Like, there's so many other options.
Show it before or don't show it. Those are your choices. This was not a good choice. Jenn starts it off.
No.
She says this conversation is not what she wanted and not something that's going to be meaningful to her. They talked about it being their relationship and they wanted a conversation off camera, she says, and that's the respect they owe each other. She says she can understand somebody changing their mind about how they feel, but what she can't understand is everything he did after they broke the engagement. And I'm already like, what did he do? Ending the engagement on a phone call the next day. She wakes up to him following Maria on Instagram, throws that in his face. And she says, it's so disrespectful to what we shared. I don't understand it. Why would you do something like that? And invalidated their relationship and what they felt.
Ghost of this season.
I know. She was there in the beginning and there in the end, but never in the document. But still controlled it somehow. Still had like a there's just so much that's interesting about this season. So much. I could probably write a book just on this season at this point. God. Anyway.
Jenn says she felt like all of this was disrespectful to their entire relationship and did the follow to be cruel. And he says, you know, that's the way you feel. I failed you. There's nothing I can say. And I was having a hard time with the breakup. And she goes, I know you were in New York clubbing with Jer. And we just see Jer look to camera, The Office style. Yeah, love this.
It was so fucking funny. I mean, every element of this where he's trying to be like, he knows he's beat. Like, there's nothing he can do. I believe he did do all these things she's accusing him of.
Looks down the whole time.
Yeah, he's just looking down and like, look, I can't argue with I didn't live up to expectations. And that's kind of the only thing he can really say. And I'm proud of you and I respect you and thank you for let me be a part of this journey. He's saying like the only shit you can say. It just doesn't seem sincere at all. At any rate.
It was a work trip. I met a client. LOL. This defense. Can I not live a life? Oh boy.
Can I not live a life? He should have
Can I not live
t-shirts
a
of that
life? We
shit
then
tomorrow.
see Sparkle Jess open mouth,
Yes.
full aperture face at this. Can a guy live a life? Can a guy?
I'm
You
just
know,
trying to
he
live a
likes
life.
to party. He likes to club. He likes to go out with Jer Bear. You're just gonna have to be ready for that.
Jer Bear's just sitting there like, God damn, I'm glad I got kicked out in hometowns. He's just enjoying the show. He has, for me, become
100%.
one of my favorite players of this season. Like, just in terms of what he did in the season, what he was able to pull off, what they
And my
tried to...
expectations
Yeah, exactly.
were so low.
Yes, expectations were low after that limo exit. But he stuck around and he got something out of this. I think he'll be on Paradise. DOP jumps in.
See Jenn say, I was very honest, and he says, I was very honest, and we see Jenn give him the skeptical, hateful face that was my face play of the game.
I literally wrote, and Jenn gives him a furrowed brow look of contempt. That was my
Face play of the game.
I think this is the
it
same
wasn't.
look.
I gave mine to the. I'll give mine
right.
to the person in
Okay.
the crowd, but
Sure.
this is tied for me. It was so good.
She was throwing them left and right,
It
too.
was the
Never not
mood
a
of the
face.
entire episode.
Absolutely.
Because she
Absolutely.
crushes him.
Every time he would say anything after this point, she's throwing him one of these looks. And it is great. Sometimes she's just staring like off into the distance with a look of disbelief on her face as he's like talking to the side of her head. She's like in a sitcom in some cases. It's fantastic, the face play she was doing here.
It's so good. She kind of warmed up on Sam M in the Men
Yeah.
Tell All. And for this, oh my God.
I agree.
We get her grilling him. How you actually felt about me. You had doubts. You never wanted to get engaged. We see that Rachel Recchia has produced tears. And she wet thumbs herself. Did you see that?
Did I see it? Rekia is crying in the audience. She wet thumbs herself.
I thought you were going to go for a longer paragraph.
I just need it in the record.
Did I see
Then
it?
I can go
I
back
did
and
read
read it and reimagine. That's what I do sometimes. I read our notes back. Just
Oh,
for
God.
fun. He says he walked.
Mine often have things I'm saying to Luca because I just have it on like recording all the dialogue.
Yeah.
Oh, she says, you were never fully in the engagement, but I wanted to spend the rest of my life with you, and you didn't. You took things from me. This is Jenn's moment.
Yeah.
And Jenn roasting the shit out of Devin was my play of the game. I loved this. I thought she did a full prosecution,
Yeah.
complete with face play, complete with tears. It is very clear who is the winner and the loser of this hot seat. Fully vilifying Devin for the season.
Oh, totally. They put him up on a tee and she knocked him out of the park. We are sending this guy in to be slaughtered, slaughter him. And she did it beautifully. I loved it. He got no inches, nothing. Any of his little comebacks that he's like, well, this and that was real. And nope, she didn't give him an inch. And like you're saying,
No.
every time she shut him down, punctuated with a great face play. Perfectly done.
Every Monday night, my heart was broken, and you're promoting the show, posting memes about Sam M. I laughed out loud at this.
So did I. I wrote, the only thing Devin could have done is say, look, you're not going to want to hear this, but 2 days after we got engaged, the show called me and the producer said if I broke up with you, I could be the next Bachelor. And so I did that. I believed them and they lied to me and they lied to you this whole season because I told them that's what I was going to do from the beginning and they kept me in this game. Boom.
Alternate pitch.
Yeah.
You say an unsaid PTC. So something that like didn't really come up during filming because I was like away, but I actually have a huge drinking problem. And, you know, I was trying to hide it from you, but I realized like I was just not ready for this. I need to like
And blame it on
get
the
my
show.
drink under control.
They were trying to give me more drinks and more drinks. You see in the show when you watch it back, I'm the only one who's like has a drink in every episode. The show kind of forced me to blame it on them.
The document backs it up.
Yeah.
Just some ideas.
Experimental play.
He doesn't say this though. She crushes him. She says, every time you said I love you so much, you're the one I want to wake up with and fight. Where was the fight? When did you try to fight for our relationship? He doesn't even have an answer.
He has this moment where they're talking about, he's like, can we just talk about the breakup instead of me meeting Jeremy in New York? And she's just shooting daggers at him. And it's like, I actually want to hear about you meeting Jeremy in New York. What was that about? Were there other Bachelor players there? Yeah.
I did see Charity post a video of Jer Bear and Maria dancing. There is a lot going on. I want to know.
Jer Bear and Maria were dancing together?
Yeah.
In a club? So I'm going to guess Devin was also there?
I don't know where it was. Ooh, Devin unphotographed.
Yeah.
Devin was the cameraman.
Maybe.
Devin is Brown Bear visuals of the Jer Bear and Maria tape.
I don't know. We're putting some pieces together here. Maybe
it was Charity.
Yeah. Wait, what? Who?
Charity posted it.
Okay. He says he's only on the show to make sure she's okay. DLP said, which is laughable. DLP says it's also an opportunity to ask him.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah. They're forcing me. He also asked him if there's anything he has to say to Jenn that she doesn't know because now is the time. What was that about?
I don't know. I was like, allegations?
That's what I thought they were angling towards. They were like, if he wants to talk about it. Like, what does that mean? He was implying there is something. And then we never get any more on this. He says the only thing he can think of is the truth. And
another thing, what about when you were rapping the N-word in that video?
Yeah, exactly.
Huh?
Are you sure there's nothing else to tell us? Yeah. And he's like, nope, I got everything all locked up. And he's like, roll the tape. They did not do that, though. God.
No.
This had so much and so little and everything in between. He says the only thing that he can think of is the truth. He watched her grow into an amazing woman on her own, and it was amazing to watch her flourish into what she was, and he fell short of her expectations. This is the same thing we just saw Marcus do. He says he's not trying to get back at her, the following thing. He does care about her. He knows he can't change her mind on that, but he watched her grow, and then he watched himself contribute to the regression. I was actually hindering your growth. You don't understand. You don't deserve to compromise your standards.
Growth hinder.
Yeah. He felt himself making her compromise. He's not going to come out here to put anything on her. DLP then takes the reins of the conversation. It's been a tough night for you, but there's something I want to say to her on behalf of myself. And Bachelor Nation, I apologize and also confidently say that even though you might not have found love, you showed everyone what a strong and powerful woman you are. This is all positive. He's trying to pep talk her up so she'll give the permission.
This was tough.
The audience cheers. Tough. Jenn tears. He says, you made history with a beautiful proposal. Can we watch it now? And she throws her hands up and says, do I even have a choice? And the producers get my error of the game. This was the error of the season, maybe the error of the decade in terms of producerial decisions. It was a disaster, in my opinion. I did want to see this. I wanted to see this moment, but I wanted to see it narratively as the end of the season. You tell me that whole story, then let Jenn and Devin tell us the story of the breakup live on stage. The way it's arranged here, by just putting it after that, makes this so crushing. It erases any goodwill you've built up to the idea of we are here for Jenn. This completely destroys it all because in the end, in the moments where you need her to be there the most, you do this because you think people crying on TV is, in quotes, good TV. You did not have her back. The exact opposite. It's tough to watch this.
Producers throwing Jenn Tran under the bus during this finale for no good reason was also my error of the game. Wowee. Yeah. We talked about it up top, but I couldn't believe what I was watching. I felt more complicit than I have felt in so long watching this show. I'm like, what did they do? What did she do to deserve this?
I think they thought
it was just a bonehead move.
Yes, I agree. And it's too bad because I don't know that we need to cover the whole proposal and everything, like second by second.
No.
But that play is the most important play. Well, let me just say, Jenn proposing to Devin was my play of the game. Play of the season.
It was also my play of the game. I was so happy with this.
Me too.
So,
like, at least they
happy.
gave her that. But it's tainted. That is the final culmination of the season we were promised. She is in control. Show us her being in control. Not her literally saying, do I even have a choice? That is the opposite of being in control. I did want to see this
Do I even
footage.
have a choice? I would have bleeped that out if I were them.
They just
Make it seem like she's fucking swearing.
Fuck you, motherfucker. I loved the play. It has forever changed the face of this game. This is the first player to do something in whatever the show's been on for 22 years. The first player to do this. That's massive.
Right.
And this is something any player could have done. She's the first one who did it. Just absolutely beautiful. I thought the proposal was handled beautifully. I liked the way she kind of did this weird circular, like, I can't let you propose. You're great. No. And it seems like but my heart was with somebody else type of speech. And then she's like, and that's
it was perfect for like, you want the speech leading into the proposal to be possible cliffhanger of like, I can't let you propose to me.
Yeah.
It was so well done, so well crafted. I think they totally took away from it in the presentation of this.
Yep.
But it was still my play of the game.
But it's like to not see that, to be making the show and not see that moment, the Jenn proposing moment is like the thing you should be building the season to. And they were even in the little promos. That's what it was all about ultimately, is that she's choosing to propose. They did that pretty well, I thought. And then they just like undercut everything they built this season. They just burn it down with this one decision. I just don't get it.
I don't get it either. We get this proposal. Devin's in the white suit. Another accurate prediction. And they love level 4. It's horrible to watch this already knowing what happens.
All of his
and we're seeing her sob.
Yeah.
In the emotions
corner,
box.
she
Not
is sobbing.
only are they forcing her to do this, but they're showing her sobbing.
And I'm telling you, they took that box off the screen when she was sobbing at her height. I think even they were watching it in the control room and were like, shit, get it off. I don't know if in real time they were thinking this was a bad idea or not, but I think by tomorrow
I can
they will
see
know.
them being like, oh, this will be really interesting to like show it this way.
Yeah.
I can see them not thinking like, oh yeah, this will actually seem like super fucked up.
Yeah. Or maybe they talked to Jenn
order
beforehand
to how they
about
show
it.
these things. Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it's the conclusion of the show. You want that to play linearly. And then we find out what happens after the show. They're like two different periods. I don't know. This just was a bad choice, I think. She wants to wake up, she says, in her final vows, and choose them every day, grow old. We get a bunch of kisses. We see the ring going on his finger, the ring going on her finger. Back in the studio, Jenn is wiping tears, and DLP gives this heavy sigh. I can't imagine how hard it is to relive that and watch it back, but I am the one in control of doing it.
He did not press that button.
He does not have a choice. He's just holding a microphone. No hands for buttons.
He should have said that too. When she was like, do I even have a choice? He could have been like, I don't either.
It's empowering because you really did things your way. And I was like, this is the cringiest moment.
Yes. It's the Dark Lord. She says she thought it was going to be the happiest day of her life, and she's proud of that woman who chose a man who's giving her what she wanted and promised her the world. But what happened was that man doesn't exist anymore. Big applause. She says, the truth is I'm still that same woman. And the crowd goes nuts. The woman that stood there, who was ready to fight for love and start a family and go through the hard times and the happy times unwaveringly, no matter what. Still the same person. She just basically gives this speech of like, I am stronger because of this. DLP asks Devin what goes through his mind watching it back. He says, it's hard. Made a lot of promises. I believe those things. It's a one-sided story.
Believed him at the time.
He starts almost saying it's a one-sided story or something, but he doesn't quite get there. He's like, I won't deny it. But I am the man that loved you. And she's like, it doesn't go away the next day for me. They're still kind of going at it. DLP's like, look, Jenn. He cuts Devin off. I want to give you the last word. And she says she hopes that he learns his words matter and you should be able to fulfill promises. Shouldn't have done what he did.
I thought they should have had Charity and Rachel Recchia do this instead of DLP.
Yep.
Have
agree.
some sort of like external support for her.
Maria and Daisy.
DLP, like a kindergarten teacher, says, let's hear it for Jen.
God. Up next, we got a sneak peek of Jones season. And that right there, to me, was the moment he became a Dark Lord. When he is like, well, thanks for being here, Devin, and facing the music. And Jenn, great love is out there and waiting for you. I know you'll find it. Up next, sneak peek at Jones season. That's it. He's in the Dark Lord's cape and cowl. The darkness is flowing through him. I love it. He is now a full Dark Lord to be reckoned with. He can stand toe-to-toe with the Lachey's at this point, in my opinion.
I mean, 1,000%. They stand under his toes. He is the empathetic king, and he says, hey, look at that handsome devil over there. About Mr. Anderson.
Takes one to know.
Or is it about the diamond dealer, Neil Lane?
I believe it's about the diamond dealer. And then we come back into this next portion, and he's like, I promised you a sneak peek, and I make good on my promises. Literally joking about the traumatic thing we just saw. Doing a weird joke on it.
He was like, I'm just going to pile on to Devin. I feel like that line was an improv. And he was like, this is a good one.
I think so too, but you're right. He's no longer hosting the show. He's like getting in little jabs and stuff, you know? There's a pleasure in that to him. He's a Dark Lord.
Shoot. I think I gave 2 play of the games, but that's fine. I meant the proposal.
That's fine, yeah. Then
we get this reel for Golden Bachelorette with Joan, and it's so cute.
Yeah. They're back at Villa de la Vina.
Oh, are they?
Did you see that? Yeah. It's the old mansion.
Interesting.
But this promo I thought was very well done, actually. And it gives me great hope. It's like, show me one limo exit of a guy that we all know from a most recent season, and done. I'm in. I was already in, but I'm really in now because they're showing, like, that's how you promote a goddamn season. Show me a moment from it. Not every second of it. Show me a good moment from night 1. That's all you got to do.
A beautiful moment where they're both like talking about how they're widows and second chance for love, and like America's sweetheart, Kelsey Anderson, like introducing him.
It was great.
After Joan meets him, she goes, oh, just call me mom. Love that. Yep. She gets a standing O. She says she's excited. It's an emotional journey. I really thought they should have brought Jenn out for this goodbye.
Yeah, I agree. But they never do.
It's always some positive moment.
On to the next, unless you have a marriage or a fiance. But we see September 18th for the inaugural season of Golden Bachelorette. Join us as everybody's up on stage, and he thanks us. He thanks everybody associated with the show, so on and so forth. Who was your MVP?
For
my 2 plays of the game, roasting Devin and proposing to Devin, Jenn Tran was my MVP. She also endured the most they've tortured any bachelorette in the finale.
You know, and I think you're right. That they may not have known what they were doing.
The only bachelorette they've tortured more is Meredith Phillips.
Yeah. I would argue there was some torture to be done in season 19 to both of those bachelorettes. But yeah, it seemed egregious in a way that I think you're right. They probably didn't understand how bad it was going to be.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like you would do it maliciously. I just don't think that's possible. But even then, it's like that's a huge mistake if you really don't know. If you really don't think that's a viable possibility. It was just brutal to watch.
It was brutal. It was really brutal. Yeah, and she carried it. She carried all of this with some interesting casting. So
yeah.
Thank you, Jenn.
Jenn was
You've
also
shown us what a strong woman can be.
God.
Women can propose with a little mermaid shell ring too. I would have liked a little get on the knee, but
oh, nice. You're a traditionalist.
Or Papa Squat.
Do a bachelorette squat cry. Jenn, by the way, was also my MVP for all of the same reasons. And the biggest of these reasons is, I don't even know what the biggest reason is. Like, take away what happened with
Devin. There's only 3
Devin.
players. Marcus and Devin were riddled with errors.
Yes. I mean, technically, Jenn is she's not a player per se. But this episode, she changed the face of this game. You're just not going to see this. Like, the first time a bachelorette proposes to a guy is now done. You can keep doing it, but it's done. She did it for the first time, opened the door. And I think there were so many things she did this season that, like I said, were truly historic. And this should be the biggest one that we all take away from it, in my opinion. It is what I will remember this season for. Eventually, in history, as the slow march of time whittles away my brain, I will forget these other things. I'm forcing myself to do so. And I will remember that proposal because that was a thing of beauty. Too. My God. It's historic on a level that I wasn't prepared for. I know we talked about it.
I was prepared from night 1.
Yeah. I mean...
but I don't know. I really had no idea how the season was going to end. I was dreading it in some ways because of just all this stuff about the guys. But I'm happy to move on, just like our Empathetic King, TLP, to Joan and the Golden Bachelorette season.
Same.
We literally already recorded our first half of the rookie player breakdown, and that will come out instead of Twibben this week.
Yes. So check that out, and we'll be doing the next half the following week, and then we're into Joan's season. And I think we're going to be doing watch parties around Los Angeles, location TBD, but Wednesday nights we believe it's on at 8. We will be doing those somewhere, very likely. Thank you, everybody.
Reach out to Anya if you have any leads on Minneapolis bars that will do
That's
this.
right. We need our Gore North watch parties. But I also just want to thank everybody who joined us for Jenn Tran's season. It has ended in a wild fashion. We all had a lot of questions about the season going in with the shuffling of the Bachelorettes and everything else that happened. I just want to say that I think Jenn did a fantastic job. Whatever may be remembered of this season, please remember how good she did and how it was a virtually impossible task that she was being thrust into. And she made the season pretty damn entertaining. That is all on her.
She absolutely did. And I, as also an empath, I felt her pain in this a lot.
Totally.
And, I thought she was a very dynamic lead. And
I did too.
I love the proposal. I hope we get the Bachelorettes always proposing from now on.
Yeah.
I hope we had the last man proposal ever.
A player could do it in Bachelor. That'd be interesting. Haven't seen that. Anyways, thank you everyone for
that's
joining
true.
us for this season. It has been a true pleasure. Pacecase, as always, it is a pleasure to break down a season with
Stacey,
you.
why are you wearing knee pads with your dress?
Yeah, you'll see. I was just going to say that I want to thank everybody for joining us on this recap of Jenn Tran's season. We hope you will join us as well for Golden and everything we got going on Patreon, all the palapas and the corners and the digging deepers and the live shows and the discords and everything else on there. And Pacecase, as always, it is a pleasure to cover another season with you, especially one this historic.
It's a pleasure to cover this season with you, Clues. You make. I was not feeling good after finishing this episode, but it was very fun to talk about.
Yeah, I agree. I always have fun watching this show, even when it's like brutal like this. There are things to learn from it, and usually it's seasons like this where massively important things happen. That first season where Dark Lord Harrison became a Dark Lord, season 4, that's where they basically invented the precursor to the group date rose. That is now a staple of the game. It's in these tumultuous seasons where the format shifts a little, and we'll see what those shifts will be after this.
Also, notably, we don't have a Twibbin this week, but something very interesting happened parasocially, I should note, which is the official Bachelor account posting a clip of DLP and calling him an empathetic king.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Even they know that's a joke.
Hey. Rude.
I'm just saying. He's
They
full
know
Dark
it's
Lord
true.
now. That's another thing I'll
He
remember this
is
season
an
for.
empathetic king.
This was
but
when he
has a
finally
job.
turned. Yeah. I'll be buying some of his clothes as soon as I can. They're not on sale yet. I already Googled it. I'm
Well,
going to be head to
better
toe
than
in
Mass
that
Improvement.
DLP
Where's
swag.
my sweatshirt?
Yeah, exactly.
We also want to give a very special shout out to our editor, Nate Flaks, and team. This is his last episode with Game of Roses.
But he's been with us for hundreds of episodes, contributing to a lot of funny little sound effects here and there, and just kind of making sure that all of our episodes sound good and are cut well. So thanks, Nate, for all the hard work you put in on this.
All of your hard work with Gore.
Thank you for joining us, and we will be back later this week.
Praise be our empathetic king, Dark Lord Palmer.
Please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us, and then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us, and then please rate this podcast. Please review this podcast. Please get a friend to listen to us, and then